Duke is the first university in the US to integrate humanities laboratories into undergraduate education. And humanities laboratories are meant to inspire work in history, literature, and languages by the collaborative research structures of science labs, and also by the challenge to find instrumental goals for the analytical imagination and research scope of people working in humanities fields. And in Duke's first humanities lab, which is called the Haiti Lab, and which is devoted to finding solutions in the Haitian recovery from the devastating 2010 earthquake, one of our projects is a digital mapping of cholera in the Caribbean. And you all may know that this past October, Haiti had began to have this epidemic that has taken 5,000 lives and made 250,000 people ill. And this was a mystery because everyone had assumed that cholera would not be a part of Haiti's problems. Now, diseases are always political. How we understand people's pathology is very much shaped by what we know about their communities and by the values and presuppositions that we bring to our understanding of their case. This is a graffiti that equates a president with cholera. And in the case of Haiti, it seems to me that one of the political problems that has impacted on the treatment of cholera is that we don't know enough about Haiti's history in NGO structures. In the case of Haiti, that knowledge is especially important because the question of where this cholera had come from immediately became extremely politically tense and actually almost upset this past fall's presidential elections. One of the theories of where cholera came from was that it had arrived in the UN mission to stabilize Haiti. This is a French cartoon that shows a UN soldier as a roll of toilet paper saying, shh, you know, let's not talk about transmission. And there have been many theories, but active investigation into questions about how diseases extend their epidemic spreads are very important for local communities who are suffering from this kind of crisis. Now at the Haiti Lab, what we did, because there's very little research on cholera in the 19th century Caribbean, which was the last century in which there was cholera in the Caribbean, we began to create a database of 19th century journalism in terms of its coverage of cholera epidemics, because ship captains and international merchants really needed to know in the 19th century where they were going to get stuck in a quarantine, where there was a devastated economy because of cholera. And so we were able to begin this mapping project, which you can see out at the reception afterwards, showing that almost the entire Caribbean was very much affected by cholera in the 19th century, but never Haiti, okay? Even when the Dominican Republic had cholera, Haiti never had epidemic cholera. This is an indication of the clustering of the dates of all of these different epidemics. As you can see, 1854 was a huge year. Cholera did not reach the Caribbean for the first time until 1833, just after it had arrived in Western Europe and the US. Now, the ideal conditions for cholera in the 19th century Caribbean had to do with things that we also now view as social problems. If you look at this slave muster, it's a little hard to see it, but there are thousands of slaves at that plantation being packed into the slave muster. Here's a slave ship, just a sea of bodies on that crew, a slave cabin. And these were the conditions, along with military barracks and camps, that fostered cholera epidemics. At the same time, as people began to realize what the problems with living conditions were, there was sometimes a swing in the opposite direction and a creation of a kind of sanitary imperialism, where things like occupations of another country were justified on the basis of the idea that their sanitation engineering might allow disease to spread from their country to others, which can be viewed as a problem of sovereignty. Now, in the case of Haiti, why didn't it have cholera? One point is that Haiti is the first country of freed slaves who founded their own independent nation in 1804. And so slavery had been abolished in 1793, much earlier than in the rest of the Caribbean. And their indigenous army in Haiti was not living in barracks. And their population was dispersed not in plantations, but in small regional farms. And we encourage you in the break to visit our booth, check out the digital timeline, answer our little quiz, and come up with your own hypotheses about why there was not cholera in 19th century Haiti, and to reflect on how this kind of knowledge can help us to confront future epidemics. Thank you.